we've gone wrong.
We've gone wrong.
I don't like this. Bonging at me all the time, and I have no idea why it's bonging. It's infuriating. It's okay. Well, let's focus on the positives. We are in the MG HS hybrid of some sort.
Yes.
It's very quiet. Put your foot down. It eventually gets going, and something happens, and you sort of move along at speed. It bongs me all the time, and I have no idea why it's bonging. And it just beeps and bongs at you, and it's infuriating. And you can't work out how to turn the radio down because there's no actual physical buttons for everything. Everything's on the touchscreen. But why are you bonging? Why are you bonging at me now? What have I done? What's wrong? I'm not speeding. It's a 50 mile an hour limit. I'm doing. Stop bonging. Stop bonging. Stop bonging. Stop bonging at me. Thank you. Nothing has changed, but everything is now well, so the car is not bonging at me anymore. I mean, the seats are comfy. I think they're quite squishy. They're heated, which is nice. It's got a nice big boot. There's loads of room in it. Steering's a bit numb, but you sort of tell it to go left, it goes left. You tell it to go right, it goes right. Bongs at you in between doing all of those things. Should we go? Let's go this way, see what happens. It'll probably bong at me in a minute. I can't decide though if the seats are sort of 90s Renault spec, comfy and squidgy, so maybe initially comfy to sit in and after a while might give you a bit of backache, but I think they're right to sit in and start off, aren't they? Loads of room in it. It's not bonged at me for 3 minutes, so maybe I'm starting to like it, I'm not sure.
Yes, and if you've been following us for a while, you'll know exactly how this works. Usually we take it in turns to drive a car. We drive around for a bit, we tell you a bit about it, and we only get the cars for about half an hour, which makes this quite tricky because it's difficult to get to know them properly. So when we say the seats are squidgy, they are squidgy and they are pretty comfortable, but long journey, who knows?
Well, I've just hopped out of the MG because I got bored of the bonging, to be honest. It bonged at me when I got out. It hasn't bonged at you yet, though, has it? It seems quite happy with what you're doing.
Pilot error.
Yeah, obviously he likes you and doesn't like me. I think having got out of it is just... It's okay, isn't it? You got a steering wheel to go left and right and 2 pedals to go quicker or slower. That's about it, isn't it? I'm sort of struggling to see too much else with it. I mean, there's plenty of room in it. It's comfy. It's okay. Is it just... I don't know, after driving the Lotus, this is just a bit sedate, really, I think, isn't it? Maybe you should have driven this first, and then the Lotus.
I think maybe you've been a bit unkind here, because I think that this is... I'm not an SUV person, as we know, but this is quite sharply styled. It's quite comfortable. I think it's pretty well appointed. All the bits are there. Admittedly, they're all buried in a touchscreen, and touchscreens I find pretty irritating all round. Not just in this car, in every car, to be honest. But the fact that climate control bits disappear, I find tricky, and I also find it really irritating there isn't a volume control that the passenger can turn down, because I'd like to be able to turn the radio down.
Yeah, how do I turn the radio up and down? I can't, can I?
No. However, that said, this is a family car, and it's a bit roly-poly, it's a bit squidgy, but you know what, it's really quite comfortable. Unlike some of the really heavy SUVs, the secondary ride's fine. It doesn't thunder into a bump and then bounce on about it for the next 3 weeks. It's just a comfortable, cruisy, wafty kind of car. And if that's what you want to put your kids in the back of and your dog in the back, then that's probably fine. Being a hybrid, it's got some electrical assistance and the performance is pretty good. It's not quite so thrashy as some other cars. And having driven a Kuga PHEV recently, would I say that this is miles and miles away from it? No, not at all. I think it probably comes down to personal preference, whether you prefer the interior of this or the Kuga. I would say the interface in the Kuga is definitely easier, and I would say that the interior quality in the back of this, much like the Kuga, is probably a little bit scratchy in places, but do you know what? I think if you're going to sit here on a motorway and you're going to bob around town and that's what you're going to use it for, great. No, it definitely doesn't have the dynamics of the Lotus. Perhaps that's not so much of a surprise, because otherwise perhaps I'd be a bit unkind to the Lotus. But now that we know where we're going, because we figured out how to use the sat-nav, which is, let's face it, a lot of the stress removed, it's fine. It's a bit, yeah, it follows where you want it to go. There's not a huge amount of steering feel, but Would you expect it with electric power steering in this type of car? Maybe, maybe not.
It does have, in common with every other car we've driven today, I'm going to turn this around so you can see it, a slightly square steering wheel.
It does.
Why? Why are all steering wheels square these days? What's happened? Why have we felt the need to reinvent the wheel?
This is really irritating, I have to say, because I like to drive with my hands somewhere up the top here, like this. And when you're manoeuvring, particularly, not just when you're driving along, it's just particularly irritating because you want to be able to... I'm going to let these people cross. Go on. Off you go. Because you want to be able to put your hands on the steering wheel where you want them when you're cruising along, and when you're manoeuvring, you want to be able to shuffle your hands around the wheel without having to take them off. In something like the Lotus, you can kind of understand it because you might spend some of your time, or most of your time, on the track. In this, not quite so sure that's the case. I think I'm going the wrong way here though. I'm going to go this way. Whee! But yeah, otherwise, the car is quite literally fine. I don't dislike it, but then I don't particularly like SUVs anyway. Not a great review that, is it? I think if you're looking for
I think it's a perfectly okay review for a perfectly okay car. This is just perfectly okay.
I think that we're being unkind here because the truth of the matter is, if you want this type of car, you should probably look at this car. It's going to be cheaper than the other types of cars from the traditional makes which you come to know and expect. It's just as comfortable as they are. It's probably just as well built as they are. You've got a ridiculously good warranty that lasts for a good period of time. The displays are clear. The one in front of me is great with the nav. I've got the nav here and I've also got it directly in front of me. And now that that's on and online, that's pretty good.
I'll also point out we've got 3.5 miles before we need to turn off. So if you want to open her up and see what she can do.
Here we go. We're going to go for an overtake. Do you know what? It's fine. It's got the power that you need to pull you where you want to go, and it's certainly no worse than anything else that runs a small capacity 1.5, 1.2 litre engine that we drive with cars of this type. Does it set the world alight? No. Is it a replacement for something like, I don't know, a DBX? No, because it's not that kind of car. Is it an equal car to something like a Cougar or a Qashqai, cars that people are going to buy and put their kids into? Yes, it absolutely is, and it is perfectly good at doing that. There's a wireless charger down here in the centre. It's got auto hold.
Did it just bong at you?
It did just bong at me.
Excellent. Good.
Yes, because I'm talking to you as well as watching where I'm going. I'm focusing on where I'm going first and foremost. I will point this out. But like everything with driver assistance tech, of course, it's constantly monitoring your progress.
So the question is, would you what's your anonymous generic SUV box thing that you have?
It is a Seat Ateca.
Ateca.
So I don't have it. My wife has it.
Would you buy one of these to replace it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. It's job done then, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
it's bonging at you again. Would you rather have one of these than a Qashqai?
Oh, God, yes.
Yes, there we are. It's job done, isn't it? So yes, actually, for what it's set out to be and what it's designed to be, actually, yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? To be fair. And the seats I do think are comfy.
They are definitely comfy.
Yeah, the seats are comfy.
Don't bother with the Qashqai. Save the extra money. Put it in your pocket. Buy one of these instead, and then buy a track day toy with the rest if you want to go and enjoy something to drive.
Is a Qashqai more expensive than this?
Yes.
Why do people buy Qashqais?
Tell us in the comments.
Have you bought a Qashqai? Tell us.
Have you been affected by Qashqai?
Your battery level may no longer be accurate.
Well then,
How about that?
it happens to us all as we get older. Why is it bonging at you?
I wanted to see what it would do if I went to the lane in the middle, to the white line. There's nothing alongside me. Watch. Here we go. So this has got driver assistance tech, like every new car. Some of them steer. This one, I wanted to see what it would do, and it's vibrating.
Oh, that's a new bong. That's not the bong I had earlier.
No. I want, yeah, all the bongs. We're coming off here. Goodbye. I think we probably could have cut that some time ago.